For everything we know about ancient civilizations, there are 4 or 5 things that we don't know. This is because no one was there to write it down, see it, or at least leave behind a helpful sticky note. So instead, scientists get handed ancient objects that make absolutely zero sense and are expected to figure it out. But the thing is, some of these finds are so weird, so out of place, they don't just confuse researchers, they genuinely freak them out. We're talking about things that mess with timelines, logic, and in some cases, basic human sanity. Asteroids and AI are scary, but sometimes it's a 1,000-year-old artifact that keeps scientists up at night. Number 15. Chamunda. Chamunda is not a demon, although she certainly looks like one. Sculptures of her, like the chilling one found in Odisha, depict a skeletal, emaciated figure with sunken eyes, protruding veins, and a hollowed-out stomach. She wears a garland of skulls, ties her hair with a snake, and carries a decapitated head in one hand, a blood-filled bowl in the other. Despite this scary imagery, she's considered a goddess, a fierce, divine lady of death and time. According to legend, she earned her title by slaying 2 demons, Chanda and Munda. Her appearance reflects her role. She doesn't comfort or protect, she destroys, purges, and cleanses. In ancient times, she wasn't feared so much as respected. Devotees saw her as a force that kept the universe in balance. Her image may shock modern eyes, but in context, it represents raw power, unfiltered and necessary. Chamunda wasn't meant to be beautiful. She was meant to be unforgettable. Number 14. The 5 Embalmed Hearts. In 2015, while excavating beneath the ruins of a 400-year-old convent in Rennes, France, archaeologists found something deeply personal: 5 human hearts, each carefully embalmed and sealed inside heart-shaped lead containers. These weren't random remains, they were once part of a romantic tradition. Centuries ago, it was common for the heart to be buried separately, often destined to join the grave of a loved one at a later date. One of the hearts belonged to a nobleman named Toussaint Parien, whose heart was eventually buried with his wife Louise de Quengo when she passed away in 1656. Modern scans revealed the chambers and arteries still intact, along with signs of cardiac disease in some of the hearts. These relics tell a quiet story of love, grief, and legacy. In a time when medicine was rudimentary and death a constant companion, preserving the heart symbolized something lasting. It's not science. It's not superstition. It's just the hope that love in some form could outlive the body. But seriously, it can't. Number 13. The Sumerian Star Map. From a civilization more than 5,000 years old comes a clay disk that has puzzled experts for decades. Originally unearthed in Nineveh, Iraq, this object was found among the remains of King Ashurbanipal's royal library. It's covered in cuneiform text and illustrations that some believe represent a star map, specifically one that records a meteor impact. Scholars recently proposed that it describes a massive asteroid striking Earth on June 29, 3123 BCE, possibly the very one that left a crater in modern-day Austria. The disk includes not just astronomical symbols, but weather observations and positions of other celestial objects from that night. One phrase on it translates to something like white stone bowl from the sky, likely referring to the incoming asteroid. If true, this disk might be the oldest known eyewitness record of a cosmic event. It's a moment of collision frozen in clay, hinting that Sumerian astronomers may have been far more advanced than we ever gave them credit for. So our ancestors were very smart. Number 12. Ancient hair extensions of Amarna. When a woman was buried in Amarna around 3,300 years ago, no one expected her remains would challenge modern assumptions about ancient beauty. She wasn't a noble or royal, just an ordinary citizen. She wasn't mummified, only wrapped in a shroud. Yet when her skull was examined in 2014, archaeologists noticed something strange. Her hair was still intact, or more accurately, her hairstyle. Attached to her scalp were more than 70 individual extensions, layered in a careful and complex arrangement. It revealed not only a striking appearance, but also significant effort, showing that hair mattered even to those outside elite circles. Other skeletons from the Amarna area also show signs of similar styling, including one with black and gray strands blended together. Interestingly, no other burial sites in Egypt have produced the same pattern, leading researchers to wonder if Amarna may have been a center for fashion and self-expression in its time. A kind of ancient-style capital, bold, specific, and utterly human. Number 11. Atlit Yam and the oldest TB case. Off the coast of modern-day Israel lies Atlit Yam, a sunken settlement that once thrived over 8,000 years ago. The town, now submerged, has been remarkably well preserved underwater. Its structures, burial grounds, and even water wells remain intact, giving archaeologists a rare glimpse into prehistoric urban planning. At the center of the site is a spring surrounded by a stone circle, proof that these early people weren't just surviving, but organizing their lives with care. One of the most surprising discoveries, though, came from the skeletal remains in its cemetery. Two of the bodies showed signs of tuberculosis, making them the oldest known cases of the disease in the world. This find rewrites part of medical history. It shows that even in some of the world's earliest organized communities, serious illness was already a reality. Whether disease played a role in the site's eventual abandonment is still uncertain. What's clear is that Atlit Yam wasn't just a primitive village, it was a real, functioning society. What do you think of it? Number 10. The Ben Stone. This was more than just a piece of rock. It was the spiritual centerpiece of ancient Egyptian creation myths. Said to have once stood at the Temple of Ra in Heliopolis, this sacred stone was believed to be the very first place touched by the sun each morning. It symbolized renewal, rebirth, and the mythical phoenix, an immortal bird tied deeply to Egyptian ideas about life after death. Though the original Ben has been lost to time, its influence is still visible in pyramid capstones and obelisks shaped in its image. Some scholars argue it may have also represented fertility, as the word Ben relates to creation and life-giving power. Legends say it was the mound that rose from the primordial waters at the moment of creation, marking the beginning of the world. Whether metaphor or something more, the Ben held deep symbolic weight. It wasn't just a relic, it was a link between divine order and the ancient Egyptian understanding of existence itself. Number 9. Trophy heads of the Nazca culture. The Nazca people of ancient Peru are known for their massive geoglyphs, but another practice of theirs is far more unsettling. They collected human heads, real ones, and kept them. For decades, experts assumed these trophy heads were taken from enemy warriors in battle, but a 2009 study challenged that theory. Researchers examining preserved skulls in Chicago's Field Museum found that the heads came from individuals within the same community as those who preserved them. This shifted the understanding entirely. Instead of trophies from war, the heads may have been part of ancestor worship, with the skulls worn during rituals or sacred ceremonies. Each one had a small hole drilled through the forehead, allowing a cord to pass through, possibly to hang the skull or wear it. The preservation process was incredibly effective. Many of the heads still have full heads of hair thousands of years later. These weren't symbols of conquest. They were perhaps symbols of memory, lineage, and spiritual continuity. Number 8. The Silver Pharaoh Sip's underrated tomb. Everyone knows Tutankhamun, but if we're talking about riches, another tomb might quietly take the crown. Discovered in 1940 in Tanis, the tomb of Pharaoh Pazusen's Tav, named the Silver Pharaoh, was packed with treasure. While silver might sound less flashy than gold today, it was incredibly rare in ancient Egypt, making it even more valuable. Pazusen's was buried in a solid silver sarcophagus, surrounded by lavish grave goods, including a stunning gold and lapis lazuli collar and a full golden death mask. Until this find, he wasn't considered a major figure in Egyptian history, but the sheer wealth buried with him suggests otherwise. He ruled for somewhere between 40 and 50 years during a politically unstable time, which makes that long reign impressive by itself. This tomb may not have the same global fame as Tutankhamun's, but when it comes to opulence and mystery, it easily competes and might even win. Number 7. The Lost Methods of Ceto. In the 19th century, a guy named Girolamo Sagato became obsessed with the preservation of the human body. But the methods he developed were so advanced and so unnerving that after his death, most records of his work were destroyed. What we do know is that he created a process that petrified flesh and organs, preserving texture, color, and structure in ways modern science still hasn't replicated. His preserved specimens, muscles, bones, even full organs, still exist and show no signs of decay. He even built a table from petrified human remains. To his contemporaries, this wasn't science. It was witchcraft. His work caused so much fear that most of his notes were burned, leaving modern researchers with preserved samples but no instructions. Today, Sagato's creations are stored quietly in museums, still resisting time. His legacy isn't just anatomical, it's the eerie sense that we lost a piece of knowledge no one has been able to bring back. Number 6. The Tully Papyrus. The Tully Papyrus might be one of the strangest and most disputed ancient texts tied to Egypt. It supposedly describes a bizarre event that happened during the reign of Thutmose III, nearly 3,400 years ago. It shows a detailed account of fiery discs flying through the sky, described in a way that some modern readers have likened to UFO sightings. The papyrus itself was never published. Instead, what exists is a transcription, allegedly made in 1953 by Alberto Tully, a former director of the Vatican Museum. According to his notes, he viewed the original once, took it back to his hotel, and copied it using a form of shorthand he'd invented himself. The original document hasn't been seen since, leading most scholars to believe it either never existed or has been lost. Despite this, some remain convinced it's a legitimate historical record. The mystery isn't so much about aliens, it's about whether any of this was real in the first place or simply a clever hoax. Number 5. Pyramid as a power collector. Well, you wouldn't expect to find cutting-edge physics buried in a 4,500-year-old pyramid, but here we are. In 2018, a research team from Russia and Germany published findings showing that the Great Pyramid of Giza can actually concentrate electromagnetic energy. Specifically, it amplifies certain wavelengths, between 200 and 600 nanometers, inside its internal chambers and beneath its base. According to their models, the pyramid behaves like a resonator, pulling in and enhancing those waves far more efficiently than it should by chance. The big question: did the ancient builders know this would happen? Well, probably not, but the odds of it happening randomly are also pretty slim. While the pyramid's creators likely weren't designing antennas for the future, their precision engineering is now being studied for use in nanotechnology, particularly for building better solar panels and advanced sensors. So while the pyramid's past is still cloaked in mystery, its structure might just end up shaping parts of our future. Nicola was right. Number 4. Jewelry made from the sky. Well, the ancient Egyptians had no idea what meteorites actually were, but they could tell they weren't just regular rocks, they were smart. That's why they treated them as something special. Among the most intriguing finds linked to this is a set of iron beads discovered in 1911 in a 5,000-year-old tomb at the Jerza Cemetery. At first, the beads were thought to be made from common nickel, but later analysis revealed their metal content was far too high in nickel to have come from Earth. In fact, the unique crystal patterns inside them match what's found only in meteorites and asteroids. These beads are considered the earliest known use of iron in Egypt, over 2,000 years before the official start of the Iron Age in the region. The fact that they were included in a burial suggests they were seen as objects of significance. Somehow, the Egyptians recognized their uniqueness, even if they had no clue the beads had fallen from space. Number 3. The Serapeum Seps giant sarcophagi. Just south of the Great Pyramid sits one of Egypt's most baffling mysteries, the Serapeum of Saqqara. Hidden beneath the ground are 24 massive black granite sarcophagi, each weighing close to 100 tons. These ancient containers are believed to date back 3,300 years, during the reign of Pharaoh Ramses II. Inside a few of them, archaeologists found the remains of sacred bulls, specifically Apis bulls, which were important symbols in Egyptian religion. But even that doesn't fully explain why they were buried with such elaborate treatment. One out-there theory suggests the boxes were actually used for fermentation, producing enough pressure and gas to emit light in the pitch-dark chambers. Yeah, basically ancient chemical lamps. Mainstream scholars don't buy that idea, but they also don't have a better answer. If the Egyptians did have a way to create glowing tombs using decomposing bulls, then they were operating on a level of engineering and symbolism we still don't fully grasp today. Alright guys, now let's head over to number 2, Statues of Sekhmet at Amenhotep III's Temple. During excavations at the ruined temple of Amenhotep III on the west bank of Luxor, archaeologists uncovered 27 statues of Sekhmet, the lion-headed goddess of war and healing. Each one was carved from black granite, a material not only difficult to sculpt but chosen for its durability and weight. Most of the statues stand over 6 feet tall, some seated, others standing, all gripping the Ankh symbol of life. Their survival is remarkable, considering the temple was devastated by a powerful earthquake around 3,200 years ago. The site itself is vast, covering nearly 4 million square feet, roughly the size of 65 football fields. Sekhmet's presence in such numbers suggests an intense ritual importance, possibly related to protection, plague, or the pharaoh's desire to harness her power. Her dual nature, destructive and restorative, fit neatly into Egypt's spiritual worldview. These statues weren't just decorations, they were guardians, stationed at a temple built to reflect not only might, but the fine balance between fury and renewal. Number 1. The Great Pyramid's Secret Void. We still don't really know how the Great Pyramid of Giza was built, and on top of that, turns out we don't even fully know what's inside it. Back in 2017, scientists identified a massive hidden chamber buried inside the structure, roughly 100 feet long and big enough to park a Boeing 747. This void is directly above the Grand Gallery, following the same steep angle. They found it using advanced particle detection tech that tracks muons, tiny subatomic particles that can slip through solid rock. But despite being able to see it on scans, no one's been able to reach it. There are no known tunnels or entry points leading to it, and breaking through the stone could cause serious damage to the pyramid itself. Because of that, Egyptian authorities have firmly blocked any attempt to dig in. So whatever's inside this space, if anything at all, remains sealed away, untouched, since it was placed there over 4,500 years ago. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon.